Hello. There we go. Alright, how's that sound? With the music at the same time. Testing, testing. That volume should be a bit better. Alright. That sounds good. Typing on the stream info is OBS's worst. Every time I update the stream info, it's like, no, don't, please stop. Why would you do this? Hello. Hello, Twitch. Hi. Oh, that's not. Hold on. One second. E. Hi. Hi. Did I think I need to... Hi, YouTube. Hi. Hi. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in.
Hello there.
Hello there. Happy Friday. I done it again. I done another one. A silly little, tricky little, a fake amount. We're back here late at night. I think that's just the nature of the thing, but here we are. We're doing the thing. Better very late than never. I have zero announcements. Nothing has happened. Absolutely nothing. But I guess here's the biggest news that I have is that I found a new playlist. And maybe it will be cool. And maybe it won't get muted. Unlike my Spotify playlist, which I was not even like super happy with anyway. So we're trying a YouTube one. I'm pretty sure I've done this one before, and I think I liked it for the most part. A little of a vaporwave vibe. I feel like vaporwave is probably more. I think that'll get us where we need to go. More so than lo-fi. I'm being recommended city pop playlists, but I don't think they're no DMCA. so maybe not. But yeah, so I've got some Grabbles this evening. Today, we've got William Elliott Griffiths has brought us a collection of Korean fairy tales. The first one that I've got, I like the name of particularly. It's called The Sky Bridge of Birds. So already I'm very on board because we love a mention of birds. So yeah, let's get into it. No bird is more common in Korea than the magpie. They are numbered by millions. Every day in the year, except the 7th day of the 7th month, the air is full of them. On that day, however, they have a standing engagement every year. They are all expected to be away from streets and houses, for every well-bred magpie is then far up in the sky, building a bridge across the river of stars, called the Milky Way, with their wings for the cables and their heads to form the floor of the bridge. Okay, I got it. It's like a beak bridge, and then their wings are just, so they're upside down, and their wings are up. They make a pathway for lovers on either side of the silver stream. Is this multiple lovers, or is this one specific group of lovers? I feel like we've heard a lot of fairy tales about lovers that got turned into stars. Boys and girls are usually very kind to the magpies. But if a single one be found about the houses, on the roofs, or in the streets on the 7th of August, woe betide it. Every dirty-faced brat throws sticks or stones at the poor creature for not being about its business of bridge building. Across the starry river. That seems... I feel like you can't... Like, crows crows need an off day too, even if your job is only once a year. Like sometimes it just doesn't work out. Magpies are basically crows, right? I'm realizing that. Magpie is a good witch name for Larch Spinney, actually. Oh, that's right. They've got like black and white coloring. I believe they are corvids. Yeah, super family corvidae. So they're very similar to crows and blue jays and stuff, but they're like the tuxedo cat of crows. It's not a perfect metaphor because that'd be like saying that there's a blue jay. A blue cat would be awesome. Let's get on that, scientists. What else are in? Oh, there's black magpies, green, blue. Wow. I don't think I know what a treepie is. A cough is apparently a type of bird. That's neat. See, I thought that pica was a kind of rodent, but in addition to a disorder where you eat things. What I'm trying to find out is how close they are. They actually look like they're pretty far up the like tree, the family tree from Corvus, the crows. Oh, and jackdaws, which are really close to really close to crows. That's exciting. Myocorvus. Stressman's bush crow. Oh, that's a very good. I like that name quite a lot. Okay, so it's like all corvids branching off to like jays or magpies first, then jays, then just like all corvinae, which are like jays, old world jays, garrulous. There's like a miscellaneous category because it has old world jays and like ground jays and bush crows sort of together, and then there's a nutcracker species. I think I've seen those before. They look kind of like they look a little bit like wrens actually. I think the one that we saw just now was pica. What's the Korean magpie look like? Oh, they're the ones that are like blue and green. Oh, that's so cool. Magpie robin. Oh, it's different. That's awesome. I love these guys. Let me get I like this image. Let me paste this guy since we don't have a picture to share from the Fairy Tales website, but we've got a visual aid for this time. And you know me, if you know me, you know that as a visual learner, I love visual aids. Where's my... There it is. It's not letting in a preview of the image, but let's... Yeah, there's our boy. Look at that. A perfect specimen of burb. The platonic ideal of Borb. Excellent. So yeah, the kids are tasked. The children of Korea are tasked with policing this bridge building effort, and it seems to me pretty unfair to the magpies that just like need to rest that day. I feel like there's because the overall variability in the number of magpies should be such that it shouldn't be necessary for all magpies to be part of the bridge. That like that's if that's the case, then this is not the engineering solution, because the magpie, you can't expect the magpie population to remain stable if it's like stable and like enough to make the bridge if it's like all of them. By evening time, the magpies return to their usual places, for they are then supposed to have attended to their tasks and built the bridge. To prove beyond a doubt that the bridge was made and walked over, you have only to look at the bare heads of the magpies at this time. Their feathers have been entirely worn off by the trampling of a crowd of retainers who follow the Prince of Starland across the bridge to meet his bride. Okay, so this is indeed a specific couple. If it be wet weather, on the morning of this day, the Weaver Maiden and the Cattle Prince... Oh, that sounds fun. I wonder if the Cattle Prince is like a minotaur. Or if he's just like a guy that likes cows. A cowboy. The raindrops are tears of joy shed by the lovers at their first meeting. If showers fall in the afternoon, they are the tears of sadness at saying farewell, when the prince and princess leave each other. If any thunder is heard, every boy and girl knows that this comes from the rumble of the wagons which carry the baggage of the prince and princess as they move away from each other. They were just like there to like hook up for one day, but they did need to bring their entire like set of retainers and all of their like vacation belongings. Now, this is the story which Korean mothers tell to their children of the Bridge of Birds. Oh, are we gonna get a backstory on the lovers? Oh, what an interesting framing device. Long, long ago, in the kingdom of the stars, a king reigned who had a lovely daughter. Besides being the most beautiful to behold, she was a skillful weaver. I feel like we have a lot of like good, we've got a record the last few streams of like weaving being related to the stories. I think that's pretty common in fairy tales. There was no good thing to be done in the palace, but she could do it. There was no good thing to be done in the palace, but she could do it. Oh, like, I see. She didn't need to do a lot of weaving because it's a palace and like all their stuff was like good, but she could. She was not only highly accomplished, but of sweet temper and very willing. Being a model of all diligence, she was very greatly beloved of her parents, and her influence over her father was very great. She is obedient. Fairy tale time, gender roles, etc. Blah blah blah. Her father would do almost anything to please his darling daughter. In due time, a young and very handsome prince who lived in Starland came to her father's court and fell in love with the pretty princess. Her parents consenting, the wedding was celebrated with great splendor. Now that she was a wife and had a home of her own to care for, she became all the more a model of lovely womanhood, and an example to all the maidens of Korea forever. Besides showing diligence in the care of clothes and food, and in setting her servants a good example of thrift. That's kind of funny that she's the one that's like setting an example of thrift for the servants who probably don't have the money to not be thrifty. She thought much of her happiness. Her service to her husband was unremitting. I think I don't know exactly what they mean in that. Unremitting, I feel like is the same as unrelenting. But I think it just means that she was always pleasing her husband. Much like they won't shut up about how obedient and demure and very cutesy she is. Her chief ambition was to make his life one of constant joy. What about her joy? But the prince, instead of following his bride's good example and of appreciating what his beautiful and unselfish bride was doing for his happiness, gave himself up to waste and extravagance. Here's what's up. Here's what's happened. This is the conflict of the story. He became lazy and dissipated, neglecting his duties. He wasted his own fortune and wife's dowry. He sold all his oxen and calves to get money, only to lose it in gambling. He borrowed many and long ropes of coin from anyone who would lend him the brass and iron money. Finally, he was so scandalously poor, being on his last string of cash. I've heard this before, but I always like when they use it in like the phrase "the string of cash," because like that's why a lot of like Korean money has like the hole in it because you could like store it with the like string, so you rather than getting like a roll of quarters, you get like a string of coins, which feels really like that feels more secure. If you're like, you can obviously the string can still be cut just like a purse could, but I don't know, it feels satisfying to be able to like drop it on there. He was in danger of being degraded from his rank as prince. Oh, they can do that? They should do that. and of having his name spoken with contempt. I feel like if he's doing all that and still people aren't like talking about him poorly, that I feel like that's the king. He's his luck has really been with him so far. The King of Stars, seeing his son-in-law on the downward way, had more than once threatened to disinherit or banish him, especially after the prince had parted with his cattle. Yet when his daughter, the young wife, interceded and begged pardon for her husband, the king relented, paid his son-in-law's debts, and gave him another chance to do better. When, however, the worthless fellow fell back into his old ways and grew worse and worse, the king resolved to separate the pair from the other, or one from the other. He banished the prince far, far away, 6 months' distance from the north, from the north side of the river Heaven, and exiled the princess a half a year's measure from space from the south. Exiled the princess a half year's measure of space from the south side of the starry stream. Oh, look at this. Oh, I spoke too soon. We have some art. Why don't they have... Man, I was hoping for magpie art, but this is pretty good. They do have the princess. So we'll put her in. We'll put here with our crow friend, or with our magpie friend. Amazing. Although the king, in his wrath, had hardened his heart, even against his own beloved child, and had driven her from court and palace because of her worthless husband, yet as a signal proof of his compassion, he ordained that on one night of the year, on the 7th night of the 7th moon, they might meet for a few hours. And now we've got this image. It says, the lovely lady that stands by the starry river to meet her lord. Illustration by unknown artist and published in Korean Fairy Tales by William Elliot Griffiths. I want to say Griffiths, but it's not. There's no T at the end. It's Griffis. 1922. Wow. I feel like we could probably get a... I'm suspicious that there's like Korean translated versions of this story too that are out there, but this is probably available because it's been, 100 years. The young people parted and took their sad journey to the edge of the starry heavens, but they loved each other so dearly that as soon as they arrived at their place of banishment, they turned around to meet each other on August 7th. So when the day came, after 6 months' weary journeying, they had reached the edge of the starry river. And there they stood, catching glimpses and waving their hands, but unable to get close to each other. There one may see them on summer nights, shining on opposite sides of the broad stream of stars, loving each other but unable to cross. Feeling that great gulf of space could not be spanned, the loving couple burst into tears, The flood from their eyes, making the river overflow, deluged the earth below, threatening to float everything, houses, people, animals away. What could be done? The four-footed creatures, fish and fowls, held a convention. But it was agreed that only those birds with strong wings and able to fly high could do anything. So the magpies, with many flattering speeches, were commended to the enterprise. When these noisy and chattering creatures, that are nevertheless so kind and friendly to the sparrows, heard of the lovers' troubles aloft, they resolved to help the sorrowing pair over the river of stars. Out of their big, ugly nests that's shady, but okay, they flew gladly to the convention that voted to build the bridge, sending out word all over the world. Millions of magpies assembled in the air under the direction of their wisest chiefs. They began their work of making, with a mass of wings, a flying bridge that would reach from shore to shore of the starry stream. Did I just, I feel like if the king ordained that they could meet once a year, but like, it's like that didn't need to be part of it. If the king was like, you can meet once a year, but then they were like, well, we tried and there wasn't there was, we couldn't get across the river. Like, that feels, why didn't the king think of that? First, they put their heads together to furnish a floor, and so closely that the bridge looked as if it were paved with white granite. Then, with their pinions, they held up the great arch and highway, over which the prince crossed to his bride, with all his baggage and train of followers. The tables were soon spread, and the two royal lovers enjoyed a feast, with many tender words and caresses. Every year, for ages past, on the 7th day of the 7th month, the magpies have done this. Indeed, although the star lovers meet only once a year, yet as they live on forever, the wife has her husband, and the husband has his wife, much longer than mortal couples who live on earth. It is law in the magpie kingdom that no bird can shirk his work. Any magpie that tries to get out of the task, and that is too bad or lazy to do his part in bridge building, is chased away by the Korean children, who want no such truant around. For does not every girl hope to be as diligent and accomplished as the star princess, that when she grows up she may make as good a wife as the lovely lady that every year stands by the starry river to meet her lord? As for the boys, it is hoped that they will become as faithful husbands as the penitent bridegroom, who every year, we're just forgetting about all of his bullshit now. On the night of August 7th, awaits his bride on the shining shore of the river of stars. Wow. Making them, I have heard of this story before, possibly in different contexts. I don't remember birds being part of it, but I do remember the star royals that were like separated, and it's like this is one of those, like, there are two stars that are like really far apart, and then one night every year they're like they're much closer together because of like how they look from Earth's perception. But I really like the fact that magpies are part of it, and they were like, how would they get across, like, how did they get across that river? I know, birds. Making both of them like shining because they're stars, examples of, like, definitely no one should be like the guy, because he was awful, and that's how they got in this situation in the first place. And they're like, you know what? He kept showing up. He didn't just like leave her in the dust once he was fucking banished. And now they're like, wow, what a good man. That sucks. And it sucks that they made the lady of like, you should be like this. You should like put up with your husband's bullshit. I also think it's interesting that the magpies are, it's not tolerated if they shirk their duties, but this prince was absolutely tolerated when he like became a gambler and like did nothing with his life. All right. The next story I have, I'm pretty sure all of the regional fairy tales are like collections from the same, like each region is from the same collection. So this is another William Elliott Griffiths. Let me check for, no, we don't have any pictures in this one. I checked the whole thing. The pictures only show up when I'm not looking for them. It's like Schrodinger's pictures. They both exist and they don't until I check for them, in which case they stop existing. I liked the title of this one. It's called Togabi and His Pranks. And we love a trickster. We love a good trickster story. It's just like our fox from the I forget where the fox was from. I think the fox might have been like a Welsh story. I don't remember anymore. Oh no, that was a Finnish story. The Miko the fox. I liked Miko the fox. Those were good. So far my favorites have been the Finnish stories and the Zimbabwean stories. The one about, what was the one that we really liked? Oh yeah, the hero Makoma. Makoma was a really cool story. That was the one that was the like god origin, where he was just like, I was a young boy, but then I fought some crocodiles and became a strong dude. Collected like a Pokemon party full of giants, and then made like a house for them to live at, and was gonna chill there for a bit, but then my ancestors spoke to me and were like, you should keep gaining XP, my dude, and not just chill out with your giant buddies. And he was like, all right, I'm gonna fight the biggest giant ever. And then he and the biggest giant fought for so long that the gods came down and were like, you two are cool, you're coming with us, you're gonna be gods. So this is Togabi and His Pranks. Togabi is the most mischievous sprite in all of Korean fairyland. Ooh, excellent. We love a superlative. He does not like the sunshine or outdoors, and no one ever saw him on the streets. He lives in the sooty flues that run under the floors along the whole length of the house, from the kitchen at one end of it to the chimney hole in the ground at the other end. He delights in the smoke and the smut. Oh, okay. I assume there's like a an actual term for smut that means like coagulated like dust liquid or something, but I think we only use it nowadays to mean like porn. So I do like thinking about this creepy pixie living in sooty gutters reading porn. He does not mind fire or flame, for he likes to be where it is warm. He has no lungs, and his skin and eyes are both fireproof. He is as black as night and loves nothing that has white in it. He is always afraid of a bit of silver, even if it only be a hairpin. Interesting. I feel like this is an interest. I'm glad we got the full bestiary reading, because I wouldn't expect a sprite or any sort of fey creature to have a vulnerability to silver. Typically it's cold iron that does it for them. But I've always wondered, because silver is a like, or not silver. I've always thought it would be like steel, because that's even more refined, and the whole point of it is to be like anti-nature. Which iron is sort of like, one could argue that, although I've also heard people say that it's because iron is the most stable element. But this guy's weak to silver, which is more like a werewolf. Or if it's Witcher rules and just all monsters are weak to silver. Alright. Togabi likes most to play at night in the little loft over the fireplace, to run along the rafters and knock down the dust and cobwebs in his delight. His favorite game is to make the iron rice pot lid dance up and down, so that it tumbles inside the rice kettle and cannot easily be got out again. Oh, that sounds awful. I feel like, if you have like a big pot and a lid for it that is like just big enough to like sit on top, but can like technically fall in, and it's just like the perfect size that you just with your hand you can't just like pull it out. It's like the worst ever. Oh, how many times the cook burns, scalds, or steams their fingers attempting to fish out that pot lid when Togabi has pushed it in. Oh, how do they bless the sooty imp. Oh, I wonder if that's like a turn of phrase when that happens. I do like blessing Togabi as a like. I assume they mean curse them, but yeah. But Togabi is not always mischievous, and most of his capers hurt nobody. He is such a merry fellow that he keeps continually busy. Whether people cry or laugh, he does not mean to give anyone trouble. But he must have fun every minute, especially at night when the fire is out. How he does chase the mice up and down the fines under the floor, and up in the garret over the rafters, when the mousies, maybe that's what he calls them, when the mousies lie dead on their backs, with their toes turned upward, when the street boys take them outdoors and throw them up in the air. Is that a tradition? That's wild. Before the mice fall to the ground, the hawks swoop down and eat them up. That sounds really fun, actually. If you're like, I have a dead mouse in my house. I want to get rid of it. So you go outside, throw it right up in the air, and then a hawk just like. That's how you make friends with hawks. Many a bird of prey gets his breakfast this way. That sounds fun. I like that. It's circle of life. I like having birds show up in another part of the story. Although Togabi plays many pranks, he is kind to the kitchen maids. When after a hard day's work, one is tired out that she falls asleep, he helps her do the hard tasks. Togabi washes their dishes and cleans their tables for good servants. So when they wake up, the girls find their work done for them. Many a fairy tale is told about this jolly sprite's doings, how he gives good things to the really nice people and makes the bad ones mad by spitefully using them. They do say that the king of all the Togabis... Oh, there's more... Oh, I guess that makes sense if there's like a bunch of them in every house. So the Togabi is a type, not just one guy. The king of all Togabis has a museum of curiosities and a storehouse full of gold and gems and fine clothes, and everything sweet to eat for good boys and girls and for old people that are kind to the birds and dumb animals. Which ones are the dumb ones? Not birds, I guess. Not anything that can't pass the dot test, maybe. For bad folks, he has all sorts of things that are ugly and troublesome. He punishes the stingy people by making them poor and miserable. The Togabi king has also a menagerie of animals. These he sends to do his errands, rewarding the good and punishing naughty folks. Each year, the little almanac, with red and green covers, tells in what quarter of the skies the Togabi king lives for that year, so that the farmers and country people will keep out of his way and not provoke him and his menagerie, the kind of creatures that help keep out of his way and not provoke him. In his menagerie, the kind creatures that help human beings are the dragon, bear, tortoise, frog, dog, and rabbit. I mean, definitely, I feel like there are, or should be other animals on that list, but can't confirm anything about the dragons, but if only. These are all men's friends. The cruel and treacherous creatures in Togabi's menagerie are the tiger, wild boar, leopard, serpent, toad, and cat. Why is there... Oh man, they didn't use an Oxford comma. Man, cats and snakes really got... What about corn snakes? Huh? They love people. I've heard toads can be... Definitely tigers and wild boars and leopards. I get that. And some snakes, for sure, are just like, don't touch me. And some cats, for that matter. But, like, I feel like most cats are very chill. This is anti-cat propaganda. These are the messengers of the Togabi king to do his bidding when he punishes naughty folks. Maybe these are just the specific ones that he has. That's probably it. The common, everyday Togabi plays fewer tricks on the men and boys, and enjoys himself more in bothering the girls and women. That's sexist. This, I suppose, is because they spend more time in the house than their fathers or brothers. Okay. So they're like, look, don't blame me. It's society. So society determines who Togabi plays tricks on. Maybe you should think about that, society. In the land of rat-tat-tat, ooh, I hope there's rats there, where the sound of beating the washed clothes never ceases, Togabi loves to get hold of the women's laundry sticks, which are used for pounding and polishing the starched clothes. He hides them so they cannot be found. Then Daddy makes a fuss because his long white coat has to go without its usual gloss, but it's all Togabi's fault. I see. They're giving someone that washed starched clothes they're like, hey, if you wash clothes, this is your this is he can be your scapegoat. Togami does not like starch because it is white. He loves to dance on Daddy's big black hat case that hangs on the wall. I assume they mean like any father, but the way that it's phrased is just like a specific guy. Sometimes he wiggles the fetish. I assume that's an alternate spelling of fetish or household idol, because that would make sense. Fetich is an interesting spelling of that. That is suspended from the rafters. I imagine that's probably similar to if it's always suspended from the rafters. That's interesting. I know like in like Japanese houses, making like a teru bozu to like ward away rain, which it's like a little ball with like a cloth over it. But this seems more general than that. This seems like an all the time like household idol. I do like that a lot. Sort of like making a little guy that like symbolizes your household, the like personification of your household. That feels very good. Most of all, Togabi enjoys dancing a jig among the dishes in the closet over the fireplace, making them rattle and often tumble down with a crash. So he's gravity primarily, is what it seems like. Or just like responsible for like little things that have been done. Togabi likes to bother men sometimes too. Okay, there we go. If Daddy should get his top knot caught in a rat hole, or his head should slip off his wooden pillow at night and he bump his nose, it is all Togabi's fault. When anything happens to a boy's long braid of hair that hangs down his back and makes him look so much like a girl, Togabi is blamed for it. Wait, when anything happens to a boy's braid. Oh, like it comes out of the braid. Oh, that's interesting. So it's if you have unbraided hair, it looks like a girl. It is even said that naughty men make compacts with Togabi to do bad things, but the imp only helps the men for the fun of it. Togabi cares nothing about what mortal men call right or wrong. He is only after fun, and is up to mischief all the time, so one must watch out for him. The kitchen maids and the men think they know how to circumvent Togabi and spoil his tricks, knowing that the imp does not like red. A young man, when betrothed, wears colors of this bright color. Togabi is afraid of shining silver too, so the men fasten their top knots together, and the girls keep their chingons in shape with silver hairpins. Oh, I see. I was imagining multiple men fastening their top knots to each other. I was like, how does that help? The magistrates and government officers have little storks made out of solid silver in their hats, or else these birds are embroidered with silver thread on their dresses. Everyone who uses white metal dishes, oh, is that why it's silver? Because it's like white? And dresses in snowy garments. Togabi likes nothing white, and that is the reason why every Korean who can puts on clothes that are as dazzling as hoarfrost. Tons and mountains of starch are consumed in blanching and stiffening coats and skirts, sleeves and stockings. On festival days, the people look as if they were dipped in starch and their garments encrusted in rock candy. Before we tell of Togabi's museum and curiosity shop, and oh, this is the sponsored part of the fairy tale, and of his aviary of birds liked and disliked, I do like that. I have a big collection of birds, and I like some of them, and I don't like some of them, but they're part of my collection nonetheless. Um, and his menagerie of popular and despised animals. We must let you know how and why Togabi used to be the most busy between the hours of 9 o'clock at night and midnight. In the old days, the great bell in the center of the city of Seoul was struck at 9 o'clock at night. Then every man and boy must be in the house and off the streets, while every woman and girl carrying a little paper lantern was free to walk out in the darkness or moonlight. Woe be to anyone of the masculine gender caught outdoors. If grabbed by the magistrate, he was severely spanked. Great wooden paddles were kept in the police office to be used on boys and men seen abroad. The women folk, dressed in white, in their tummed-up shoes, and with their funny little green jackets over their heads, wandered their way to call on their female friends for chat and gossip. Yet they must, every one of them, be home by midnight. And then, if Togami had not hidden their beaters away, they began again on the pile of starched clothes, laying each garment over a little round log they kept up a steady rat-tat-tat until near morning, making the real Korean chorus which Togami loves to hear. I like that quite a lot. One type of little guy is responsible for all of these fashion and household design decisions. That's very good. Both of those were very gender, which is probably the only thing I didn't like about them. But other than that, they were pretty great. I especially like stories about little guys who are pranksters. I'm gonna see if I can do anything about this. My internet is like stuttering quite a lot. Okay, I think it's just like turning off stuff and removing things. So I think let's chill at least for now. Turn this up a bit. I am gonna go get we'll let the princess and the magpie go home. I'm gonna get my drawing stuff, and we can get some inking done. Make sure I've got my liquids and snacks ready too. Be right back in a bit. We're back. Man, today is not a good hair day. I'm just gonna wear a fucking hat. I like tried to fix it earlier, but it's still, it was like really windy today, and I went for a walk and it was just like alright. Let me change our category. Fantastic. Alright, so we've got Larch Spinney, page 31. We're on panel panel 3. Oh, what the hell? I'm just realizing right now that this is not updating. Hold on. There we go. Okay, here's what we're working with. feel like the angle on that is wrong. Let me fix that. That's more like it. Alright. I don't think Nat's wearing mascara. Click. I don't know what you're doing, internet. This was really tricky to get the shape right. Nat's mouth in the original sketch. I'm suspicious it's gonna prove the same now, because this is such a specific expression. Too close to me. I feel like I could make her mouth even wider. Not sure why that didn't translate when I originally drew it. Alright, that feels right. me get this line all in one go. How did her... I don't think her sleeves have... I don't think they're that big either. I think they're just... like that. I think the sleeves as a whole might be too big, not just the cuffs. Okay, so this arm is foreshortened, and I actually do think it should be that big. But this one is not. So I think that might be part of why the pose looks a little bit weird. Bro, what the hell? This is not... I'm just gonna make this thinner. Because if it goes too high, it looks like the door is just like weirdly high. And it's probably gonna tangent with this speech bubble too. Shit. Let me make it just like a little bit lower. Make this the top.